Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Cup English. I'm Liam.
And I'm Chloe. We're really happy you're here with us today. Whether you're listening on your way to work, at home, or just relaxing with a cup of coffee, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, seriously, it means a lot. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and follow our podcast. We upload new episodes every single day, so there's always fresh English conversations waiting for you.
Exactly. Our goal is to help you learn English in a natural way, through real conversations, real emotions, and real-life topics. No pressure, just listening and enjoying.
Think of this as your daily English break. Short, simple, and useful.
All right, let's get into today's episode. So today's topic is called Turning Bad Days Around with Gratitude.
I like that title. Because honestly, everyone has bad days. No matter who you are, something always goes wrong at some point.
So true. Maybe you wake up late, spill coffee on your shirt, miss the bus, or have a stressful meeting at work. Sometimes it feels like the whole day is just off.
Yeah, and when that happens, it's really easy to stay in a bad mood. You start complaining, feeling tired, and everything seems worse than it actually is.
That's where gratitude comes in. Not in a big, dramatic way, but in small, simple moments. Just noticing something good, even on a bad day.
I used to think gratitude was kind of cheesy, like something people just say in motivational quotes.
I get that. But when you really try it in real life, it can actually change how you feel. It doesn't magically fix your problems, but it can change your perspective.
Right. It's less about pretending everything is perfect and more about not letting one bad moment ruin the whole day.
Exactly. And today we're going to talk about how simple gratitude, just small thoughts or actions, can slowly turn a bad day into a better one.
No complicated advice, just normal experiences and honest opinions.
Just like two friends talking over coffee.
Which is basically what Daily Cup English is all about. Speaking of bad days, I had one just last week. It started badly from the moment I opened my eyes. My alarm didn't go off, so I woke up almost an hour late. I rushed out of bed, skipped breakfast, and, of course, that was already a terrible start.
Oh no, that already sounds stressful. I hate mornings like that, when you feel like you're chasing time instead of living it.
Exactly. And it didn't stop there. I spilled coffee on my shirt while trying to leave the house. Then traffic was horrible. By the time I got to work, I was tired, annoyed, and honestly not in the mood to talk to anyone.
I can totally relate. It's like once one thing goes wrong, everything else decides to go wrong too. Even small problems feel huge.
Yes, and the funny thing is, nothing big actually happened. No disasters, no serious issues, just a lot of little annoying things. But they added up and completely ruined my mood.
That's what happens to most of us. Bad days are usually not about one big problem. It's many tiny frustrations stacked together.
True, and when I'm in that mood, I start seeing everything negatively. Someone talks to me normally, but I think they're being rude. A small task feels impossible. It's like my brain switches into everything is bad mode.
I've been there. Last month, I had a day where nothing went according to plan. I had prepared for a presentation, but my computer suddenly updated right before the meeting. I just sat there waiting, feeling helpless.
Oh wow, that's the worst timing ever.
It really was. And after that, I felt embarrassed and disappointed in myself, even though it wasn't really my fault. The rest of the day, I kept thinking about it. I couldn't focus on anything else.
It's crazy how one moment can follow you the whole day if you let it.
Exactly. And sometimes we don't even notice that we're carrying that negative energy for hours. We talk differently, think differently, and even treat people differently.
Yeah, and later you realize the day wasn't actually terrible, but your mindset made it feel that way.
That's why this topic is so real. Everyone listening right now probably had a bad day recently, maybe yesterday, maybe even today.
And the interesting part is, bad days are normal. They happen to everyone. The question is not how to avoid them completely, because that's impossible. It's how to respond when they happen.
Exactly. Because we can't control every situation, but we can slowly learn to control how we react. And that's where gratitude starts to become important, even if it feels small at first.
All right, so here's my honest question. Does gratitude really work? I mean, I understand the idea, but sometimes it sounds a bit unrealistic. Like, if I'm having a terrible day, how is simply being grateful supposed to change anything?
That's a fair question. A lot of people think that way at first. It can sound like something you read on a poster or hear in a motivational video. But gratitude isn't about magically fixing your problems. It's more about shifting your focus, even just a little.
I get the theory, but in the moment, it's hard. When I'm stressed or angry, the last thing I want to do is sit there and think, oh, I'm grateful for this. It almost feels forced.
I agree. It can feel forced if you treat it like a rule or a task, but gratitude doesn't have to be big or formal. It can be really simple, like noticing that the weather is nice, or that your friend sent you a message, or even just enjoying a good cup of coffee.
So you're saying it's more about small awareness, not big emotional speeches in your head?
Exactly. It's not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about reminding yourself that not everything is bad. Even on a messy day, there's usually one or two things that are still okay.
I guess when you put it that way, it sounds more realistic. I think my problem was imagining gratitude as something dramatic, like I have to suddenly become super positive.
No, not at all. It's actually very quiet. Sometimes it's just a tiny mental pause. You're upset, then you notice something small that's good, and your mood shifts just a little. Not 100%, maybe just 10%, but that 10% matters.
I like that idea, a small shift instead of a full change, because honestly, expecting a full change feels impossible, but a small improvement feels doable.
Exactly. Gratitude isn't a switch you turn on. It's more like a dimmer light. You slowly brighten the room instead of suddenly turning on a spotlight.
That's a good metaphor. I guess another reason I was skeptical is because sometimes people use gratitude as a way to ignore real problems, like just be grateful and don't complain. That can feel dismissive.
Yes, and that's an important point. Gratitude should never mean ignoring your feelings or pretending problems don't exist. You can still be frustrated, tired, or sad, and also be grateful for something small at the same time. Both emotions can exist together.
So it's not about replacing negative feelings, but balancing them.
Exactly. It's emotional balance, not emotional denial. You acknowledge the bad moment, but you don't let it take over your entire mindset.
When you explain it like that, it sounds less like a motivational quote and more like a practical tool.
That's what it really is, a simple mental tool. No pressure, no perfection, just a small reminder that a bad moment doesn't automatically mean a bad day.
I think a lot of listeners might relate to this. Some people probably love the idea of gratitude, and others might still be unsure, just like I was.
And that's totally okay. You don't have to fully believe in it at first. Sometimes you just try it once or twice, and your experience slowly changes your opinion.
Yeah, I guess gratitude is one of those things you understand better by practicing, not just talking about.
Exactly. It's less about words and more about moments. Small, quiet moments that slowly change how you see your day.
But let me challenge this a bit more. What if someone is having a really bad day? Not just traffic or spilled coffee. I'm talking about serious stress, like problems at work or family issues. In those moments, gratitude can feel almost meaningless.
I understand that. And you're right. Gratitude isn't a solution to serious problems. It doesn't solve conflicts or pay bills or remove stress instantly. But what it can do is change your emotional starting point. When your emotions are slightly calmer, you think more clearly.
So you're saying gratitude doesn't fix the outside situation, but it affects the inside reaction?
Exactly. Think of it like adjusting your glasses. The world outside is the same, but your view becomes clearer. You still deal with the same issues, but you're less overwhelmed.
That actually makes sense, because when I'm overwhelmed, even small tasks feel huge. My brain exaggerates everything.
Yes, and gratitude helps reduce that exaggeration. It's not about denying difficulty, it's about reminding yourself that difficulty is not the only thing happening in your life at that moment.
I guess another misunderstanding is that people think gratitude means being happy all the time, and that's just not realistic.
Absolutely. Gratitude is not permanent happiness, it's more like emotional flexibility. You allow yourself to feel upset, but you also allow yourself to notice something good without guilt.
Without guilt, that's important. Sometimes when you're in a bad mood, you almost feel weird noticing something positive, like you're betraying your own feelings.
Exactly, and that's a very human reaction, but emotions don't have to be all or nothing. You can be stressed about work and still be thankful for a supportive friend. Those feelings can exist together naturally.
So, gratitude is less about changing reality and more about widening your emotional view.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Widening the view instead of zooming in only on the negative part. Because when we zoom in too much, the bad moment looks bigger than it really is.
You know what? I think my skepticism came from expecting instant results, like if I try gratitude once, I should suddenly feel amazing. But real change is usually slower than that.
Exactly. Gratitude works quietly. It's more like building a habit than pressing a button. Some days you'll feel the difference immediately, and other days you won't notice it until later.
That actually sounds more honest. Not a miracle, not magic, just a small mental practice that grows over time.
Yes, and because it's small, it's accessible. You don't need special tools, money, or a perfect environment. You just need a moment of awareness.
I think that's why people eventually start believing in it, not because someone tells them to, but because they feel a slight change themselves.
Exactly. Experience is more convincing than advice, and even if gratitude only improves your mood by a tiny percentage, that tiny shift can influence the rest of your day more than you expect.
So maybe the real question isn't, does gratitude completely fix bad days, but can gratitude make bad days a little lighter?
Yes, and often a little lighter is all we need to keep going. You know, I didn't always believe in gratitude either, but there was one situation that really changed my mind. It was about a year ago. I had just finished a long day at work, and everything felt exhausting. I missed a deadline, my phone battery died, and it started raining when I didn't even bring an umbrella.
That sounds like one of those days where you just want to go home and sleep immediately.
Exactly. I remember standing at a bus stop feeling completely drained, and then for some reason I looked around and noticed a little girl laughing with her mom in the rain. They were sharing the same umbrella and joking about getting wet. It was such a small moment, but it caught my attention.
That's interesting. A tiny scene, but it changes your focus.
Yeah, and I didn't suddenly become super happy or anything, but in that moment I thought, okay, this day isn't only bad. I still had my problems, but my mood softened. I felt a bit lighter, like I could breathe again.
So it wasn't a big action, just noticing something positive around you.
Exactly. Gratitude didn't fix the rain or my missed deadline, but it changed how heavy the day felt. Instead of going home angry, I went home calmer. That small emotional difference actually affected my whole evening.
I had a similar experience, actually. Mine was much simpler, but it surprised me. I was having a stressful week, too many tasks, not enough sleep. One night I was sitting at my desk feeling frustrated, and my brother randomly sent me a message saying, "Hey, just checking in. Hope you're okay."
That's really sweet.
Yeah, and it was such a short message, but it reminded me that someone was thinking about me. I stopped for a second and felt thankful. My problems didn't disappear, but my stress level dropped. I suddenly didn't feel so alone with everything.
That's a perfect example. Gratitude often comes from human connection. A text message, a smile, someone holding the door. These things are small but emotionally powerful.
And what surprised me was how long that feeling lasted. It wasn't just a 5-second mood change. The rest of the night felt more manageable.
Exactly. Gratitude creates a ripple effect. One small positive thought can influence the next decision you make, how you talk, how you react, even how you sleep later.
I think that's the key. It doesn't need to be a big achievement or a huge success story. Most of the time, it's ordinary moments that shift your mindset.
Yes, and those ordinary moments are available almost every day. We just don't always notice them because we're focused on what's going wrong.
So, gratitude is less about searching for something amazing and more about recognizing something already there.
Exactly. It's like adjusting your attention. The good things were already present. You just finally gave them a second of awareness.
And once you experience that shift a few times, you start trusting the process more. You realize it's not fake positivity, it's just choosing not to ignore the small good parts of the day.
Right. It's realistic, not perfect. Bad days still happen, stress still exists, but gratitude gives you a small emotional anchor, something steady to hold on to, even briefly.
And sometimes that brief moment is enough to turn the entire direction of the day, not from terrible to perfect, but from terrible to manageable.
Exactly. And honestly, manageable is already a big win.
So after those experiences, I started wondering, how do you actually practice gratitude without making it feel like a task? Because the moment something feels like a task, I usually lose motivation.
I totally get that. I think the key is to keep it very casual. For me, it's not a formal routine. Sometimes it's just a quick thought before I go to sleep, like thinking of 2 or 3 things that were okay during the day.
Not even big things, right?
Not at all. It can be something as simple as the coffee tasted good today, or I had a nice conversation, or even I finished one small task. It sounds tiny, but it changes the tone of how the day ends.
I actually tried something similar without realizing it was gratitude. I started sending short thank you messages to friends or coworkers when they helped me with something. Nothing dramatic, just a quick, hey, I appreciate your help earlier. And honestly, it improved my relationships more than I expected.
That's a great example. Gratitude doesn't always have to stay in your head. Saying it out loud or texting someone can make the feeling stronger, and the other person usually feels good too, so it becomes a shared positive moment.
Yeah, and it doesn't take much time. Sometimes it's literally 10 seconds. But those 10 seconds shift your energy a little.
Exactly. Another simple thing I do during stressful moments is I pause for a few seconds and look for one thing around me that's pleasant. Maybe music playing in a cafe or sunlight through a window. It's not a big mental exercise. It's more like a gentle reset.
A gentle reset. I like that phrase because it's realistic. Nobody has time for a long ritual in the middle of a busy day, but a 5-second reset is possible.
Right. Gratitude works best when it fits naturally into your life instead of interrupting it. Some people like writing journals, others prefer mental notes, and some just express appreciation to people more often. There's no single correct method.
I think that flexibility makes it easier to maintain. If it feels personal, you're more likely to keep doing it.
Exactly. And it's okay if you forget sometimes. Gratitude isn't about perfection or daily streaks. It's more like a tool you pick up whenever you need it.
I've noticed that even noticing small comforts helps, like a comfortable chair after a long day, or good music during a commute. Those little acknowledgments prevent my mind from staying stuck on stress.
Yes, because your brain naturally focuses on problems. Gratitude gently reminds it to notice balance, not to ignore difficulties, but to recognize that the day usually contains more than just frustration.
And the best part is you don't need special skills. You just need a moment of attention.
Exactly. A moment of attention and honesty. You're not trying to convince yourself everything is perfect. You're simply saying, okay, this one small thing is good. And sometimes that small statement changes the emotional direction of the whole day.
But let me bring up another concern because I think some listeners might be thinking this too. Is gratitude just a way of ignoring real problems? Like if I focus on what I'm thankful for, am I just avoiding the issues I actually need to fix?
That's a really important question, and honestly, I used to worry about the same thing. But over time, I realized gratitude is not about avoiding problems, it's about facing them with a calmer mindset.
So it's not like saying everything is fine when it's clearly not.
Exactly. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending things are fine. You can fully admit that something is difficult or unfair and still appreciate something else at the same time. It's not denial, it's balance.
I guess the confusion happens because some people talk about gratitude as if you should always stay positive no matter what, and that can feel unrealistic, even unhealthy.
Yes, constant positivity can actually be exhausting. Real gratitude is quieter and more honest. It allows space for frustration, sadness, or anger. It just prevents those emotions from completely taking over.
So instead of ignoring the problem, gratitude gives you a mental pause before reacting?
Exactly. Imagine you're stressed about work. If you're overwhelmed, you might react emotionally, make quick decisions, or say things you regret. But if you pause and notice one stable or good thing in your life, your mind becomes slightly calmer, and that calmness helps you handle the problem more rationally.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like taking a deep breath before responding instead of immediately panicking.
Exactly. Gratitude is like an emotional, deep breath. The situation is still there, but you're not drowning in it anymore.
I think another misunderstanding is that gratitude replaces action, but actually you still need to solve your problems, right?
Absolutely. Gratitude doesn't replace action, it supports action. When your mind is calmer and more balanced, you're actually better at finding solutions. You think clearer, communicate better, and make smarter choices.
So instead of being passive, gratitude can actually make you more effective.
Exactly. It's not passive at all. It's a mental adjustment that helps you respond instead of react. You still acknowledge the issue, but you're not letting your emotions control every decision.
I like that distinction. Respond instead of react. Reacting is emotional and fast. Responding is calmer and more intentional.
Yes, and gratitude helps create that small gap between the problem and your reaction. That gap is where better decisions usually happen.
So in a way, gratitude isn't about ignoring reality. It's about seeing reality more completely, both the challenges and the small positives.
Exactly. Life is rarely all bad or all good. Gratitude just reminds us not to zoom in so much on the negative that we forget the rest exists.
I think that's reassuring for people who worry about being too positive. You're not trying to force happiness, you're just trying to stay emotionally balanced.
Yes, balanced is the perfect word. Gratitude is not a mask, it's a lens. It doesn't hide problems, it simply helps you see the full picture before you decide what to do next.
You know, the more we talk about this, the more I realize gratitude isn't just about having a better day. It's also about personal growth. I think I've become more patient over the years because I started noticing small good moments instead of only focusing on what annoyed me.
I feel the same way. When I was younger, one bad event could completely ruin my mood for hours, sometimes even the whole day. But now I recover faster. Not because life became easier, but because my perspective changed a little.
That recovery speed is such a big difference. Before, if something went wrong in the morning, I would carry that frustration into the afternoon and evening. Now, I'm not perfect, but I can usually reset myself sooner.
Exactly. Gratitude doesn't stop negative emotions from appearing. We're human, they will always appear, but it shortens the time we stay stuck in them. That alone can change how we experience our lives.
And it's interesting because the change is subtle. You don't wake up one day feeling like a completely different person. It's more like you slowly notice you're reacting differently than before.
Yes, it's very gradual. Sometimes you only realize the growth when you look back. You think, wow, a year ago, this situation would have stressed me out much more.
I've had that exact thought, and it's not because problems disappeared. It's because my emotional response became softer, less extreme.
Gratitude kind of trains your mind to search for balance instead of drama, not in a boring way, just in a calmer, more grounded way.
I like the word grounded, because when you're grounded, small problems stay small. They don't turn into giant emotional storms.
Exactly. And another thing I've noticed is that gratitude increases appreciation for ordinary life. Things that used to feel normal, like a quiet evening, a good meal, or a supportive friend, start to feel more meaningful.
That's true. You begin to value consistency and stability more. Instead of always chasing big, exciting moments, you start enjoying simple ones too.
And that enjoyment creates a kind of inner calm. Not excitement, not perfection, just calm. And honestly, calm is underrated. People talk a lot about happiness, but calmness is what keeps you steady.
I agree. Calmness makes challenges feel manageable. Without it, even small issues can feel overwhelming.
Gratitude doesn't remove challenges, but it adds emotional cushioning. It's like having a soft layer that absorbs part of the impact when something stressful happens.
That's a great way to describe it. Emotional cushioning. You still feel the impact, but it doesn't hit as hard.
And over time, that cushioning becomes stronger because it's built from repeated small moments of awareness, tiny reflections, tiny acknowledgments, tiny pauses.
Which proves that small habits really do matter. Not because they're dramatic, but because they're consistent.
Exactly. Gratitude is quiet consistency, and that quiet consistency slowly changes how you see your day, your relationships, and even yourself.
It's funny, something so small can influence something so big.
Yes, and maybe that's the most powerful part. Gratitude isn't loud or complicated, it's simple, but its effect grows over time in ways you don't always expect.
If you're listening right now, I'm pretty sure you've had a bad day recently. Maybe you woke up late this morning, maybe work felt overwhelming, or maybe nothing huge happened, but you just felt tired and unmotivated.
Yeah, and that's completely normal. Bad days are part of being human. We all experience them, no matter where we live or what we do. The difference is usually not who has bad days, it's how we respond to them.
Exactly. And maybe while you're listening to this, you're thinking, okay, gratitude sounds nice, but can it really help me today? And honestly, the only way to know is to try one tiny action.
Not a big change, not a complicated plan, just something small. For example, after this episode, you could take 10 seconds and think of one thing that went okay today. Just one.
It could be anything. Maybe your lunch tasted good, maybe the weather was nice, or maybe someone smiled at you. It doesn't need to be impressive. Small moments count.
And if today feels really heavy, you can even go simpler. You can be grateful for something basic, like having a comfortable place to sit right now, or having a few quiet minutes to yourself.
I think what matters is the pause. That short mental pause where you step back from stress and notice something neutral or positive. It's like giving your brain a tiny break from worrying.
Yes, and sometimes that tiny break is enough to shift your mood just a little. Not from sad to excited, but maybe from stressed to calmer. And that small emotional shift can change how the rest of your evening goes.
Also, remember that gratitude doesn't need to be private. You can share it. You can text a friend, "Thanks for being there," or tell a coworker, "I appreciate your help." Those little messages can brighten someone else's day too.
And when you make someone else feel appreciated, you often feel better yourself. It creates a small circle of positivity. Very simple, very natural.
So if you're listening and thinking, "My day isn't great," just know you're not alone. Everyone has moments like that. The goal isn't to force happiness, it's just to lighten the emotional weight a little.
Exactly. Even a 1% improvement matters. One calmer breath, one thankful thought, one kind message. These tiny actions add up more than we realize.
And who knows, that one small moment of gratitude today might quietly influence tomorrow too.
Yes, sometimes change doesn't come from big decisions. It comes from small, repeated awareness, the kind anyone can practice anytime, anywhere.
So if we had to sum everything up, I'd say this. Gratitude doesn't magically turn a bad day into a perfect one. It doesn't erase problems or remove stress instantly, but it does change how we carry those problems.
Exactly. It's not about transforming reality overnight. It's about transforming our response to reality. When you shift your reaction, even slightly, the whole day can feel different.
I like thinking of gratitude as a small adjustment instead of a big solution. You're not trying to control everything around you, you're just choosing not to let one negative moment control your entire mood.
Yes, and that choice is powerful because it's always available. You don't need special conditions or perfect timing. Even in the middle of a messy day, you can still notice one stable or good thing.
And sometimes that one small observation becomes a turning point. Not dramatic, not loud, just a quiet shift that makes the day more manageable.
That word manageable is important. Life doesn't have to feel perfect to feel okay. Gratitude helps us move from overwhelmed to steady, from frustrated to a little calmer.
And over time, those little calm moments build resilience. You start to bounce back faster, worry a bit less, and appreciate ordinary life more.
Exactly. Gratitude isn't about ignoring difficulties. It's about remembering that difficulties are only one part of the picture, not the whole picture.
So maybe the real goal isn't to avoid bad days, because we can't, but to learn how to gently turn them around when they happen.
Yes, a gentle turn, not a forced change. A simple pause, a small acknowledgement, a quiet thank you in your mind. Those tiny actions might seem insignificant, but their effect grows with consistency.
In the end, gratitude is less about changing the world outside and more about softening the world inside.
And when the inside feels softer, the outside becomes easier to face. That's the real difference. Not perfection, just a better emotional balance.
And with that, we're going to wrap up today's conversation. We hope this episode gave you a small moment to pause, reflect, and maybe look at your day from a slightly different angle.
Yes, and if you enjoyed listening, don't forget to subscribe to Daily Cup English and follow our podcast. We share new episodes every single day with real conversations to help you practice English naturally.
You can listen while commuting, cooking, studying, or just relaxing. Even a few minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
And if today hasn't been the best day for you, remember, it's okay. Take one small breath, notice one small good thing, and give yourself a little kindness. That's more than enough.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We truly appreciate every listener who joins these conversations.
We'll be back tomorrow with another topic, another discussion, and another cup of English.
Until then, take care of yourself.
And have a calm, grateful day.
Bye, everyone, and see you in the next episode of Daily Cup English.